For more information, connect with us via email at info@ita.gov.jm or on social media at Island Traffic Authority.
Motorists, as Minister of Justice, I appeal to you, obey the road code, pay your ticket on time, and only go to court if the ticket is being contested. Close to 80% of matters coming to the parish courts are for traffic breaches. Let's work together to make our roads safe and ease the burden on our courts.
So who keeps our taxpayer money in check? Well, the PAC and PAAC help watch over the country's budget. And one might sound like it just have an extra A, but they're way different. Here's how. The PAAC and PAC are two committees that watch the money. The Public Accounts Committee reviews government projects after them close. They do a post-audit check to see what problems arose with the costs and call officials to explain decisions that cause budget mismanagement. And then they recommend corrective action, so the problem will happen from when, not happen again. But what about the money we are spending right now, the PAAC? That's how Public Administration and Appropriations Committee pretty much means your money will protect as it happen, we check. While projects go on, things are accurate. As government spend the nation's budget, PAAC reviews it. They examine proposals and summon officials to find problems before them don't use it. So the PAC and PAAC are two parliamentary committees that watch over the country's wallet to protect the budget and keep it in check. And you can get involved. Just visit jampja.org.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you, thanks to the government's new social housing program, specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It in at the table on the side or the back. If you check out the servings, just do the maths. Not taking too much, finger below the facts. Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It in at the table on the side or the back. Take note of the sodium, the sugars and the fats by percent. Unless you're on the right track. You for zoom in on the nutrition facts. It in at the table on the side or the back. Vitamins, minerals and vitamin 2, 20% and more that good for you. You for zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake and less fat. You for zoom in.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jamaica Moves, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, the National Health Fund, and Japan.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Lock them out. Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running, because we ready for the ops. Drive up on your block, step out now me block. Cyber take about your laptop, pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. When you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA, MOCA.
Are you an entrepreneur producing an excellent Jamaican product or service? Did you know you can earn hard currency and more significant returns by exporting? contact the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce to help propel your business along the export lane.
Everything you can produce, the Jamaicans overseas want it. We're not going to get rich by just bringing down the debt. We're going to get rich by exporting a lot more. So grow exports, create job opportunities, drive economic growth through exports to make Jamaica a richer and much more prosperous country.
Each year, the Jamaican Parliament approves billions in tax dollars to buy goods and services for Jamaicans. Awarding contracts to private companies to provide public goods and services is called public procurement, and it is a major hotspot for corruption. Can citizens spot the red flags in public procurement and help the government protect our taxes? Yes, they can, and here are 6 to watch for. Direct contracting. When contracts are frequently awarded to one supplier without other companies competing to offer a better price and quality, we usually end up paying more and getting less. Contract splintering. Big projects need big money and higher level approvals. But if the contract is cut up into smaller ones, it won't need external approval from offices like the Public Procurement Commission or Cabinet. This makes it easier for contracts to avoid additional scrutiny. Timing of advertisements. Contracts advertised during distracting periods like the holidays can result in less competition and a really strong advantage for the favored company. Like Christmas time, work slows down and companies are less attentive to business opportunities. Emergency contracting. Claiming emergencies allows officials to legally bypass normal procurement rules, making it easier to award contracts to favored companies. Contract timing. Contracts awarded just before or after election can be payback for campaign support and not based on what Jamaicans really need. Collusion. And what if penalties are not enforced when work is poorly done? This could be a contractor and public official working together for private benefit. And if it is, this is collusion. These flags do not prove corruption, but they trigger questions that citizens must ask. So mind your business, Jamaica. Visit the JAMP Procurement Tracker to monitor government contracts. If you spot these flags, use our ATI tool to ask questions and demand accountability.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you, thanks to the government's new social housing program specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
What can a little germs do?
Pink eye running belly, even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on our manners with these. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Always wash your hand with water and soap. Keep dirty hands from your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You don't want to be sick, take care. Practice every day, no germs round here. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Speeding kills. Obey the speed limit. A message from the Road Safety Unit in the Ministry of Transport and Mining.
Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table by the side or the back. If you check out the servings, just do the maths. Not taking too much, finger below the facts. Zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table by the side or the back. Take note of the sodium, the sugars and the fats. 5% or less in the on the right track. You for zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table by the side or the back. Vitamins, minerals, and vitamin 20% and more that good for you. You feel zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. You feel zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. You feel zoom in. Check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake, and less fat. You feel zoom in.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jamaica Moves, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, the National Health Fund, and Japan.
Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of we. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out.
By whom alone kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all our consultations. And grant that, we having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, the result of all our counsels may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the king, the public weal, peace and the tranquility of the island, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I'll only take the
You may be seated. I now call this sitting of the Honorable House of Representatives to order on this, the 9th day of June 2026. I take this opportunity to extend welcome to all members of this Honorable House, the members of the media or visitors in the gallery, and to the many Jamaicans joining us online and through the various broadcasting platforms. I wish to especially acknowledge and thank the presiding officers of the Caribbean, Americas, and Atlantic region who participated in the recent 22nd Pan-Americas Plenary Assembly and the 10th gathering of Open Parliament Network. This conference, held in Ottawa, Canada, on May 19th to 22nd, their participation reflected the continuing commitment of our parliamentary committee to cooperation, mutual support, and the strengthening of democratic institutions across the Caribbean. We value the relationship being built among presiding officers and parliaments throughout the region, and further, we join them in the express commitments to look forward to a future with programs that will deepen the collaboration, promote the sharing of experience and best practices, and strengthen our bonds within the Caribbean parliamentary community. Today, the House continues the sectoral debate, and we are scheduled to hear presentations from the Honorable Robert Montague, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, with responsibility for land titling and settlements, and the Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western. Also, we will hear from Miss Andrea Perkis, Member of Parliament for Hanover Eastern. As we continue this important debate, I wish to extend a warm welcome to the constituents who have joined us in the gallery today, particularly those from the constituencies represented by the members who will be making their presentations. We are pleased to have you with us, and I trust that your presence here will provide a meaningful opportunity to observe the work of the Parliament and the important role of members of Parliament in the country to the people of Jamaica. Let me make a special welcome to Member Angela Brownberg, who I have not seen for a while. You look resplendent. Additionally, I'm especially pleased to welcome students and teachers from Orocabessa High School, Goshen Primary School, Donington Primary School, and Taki High School. To our students, a special welcome. The Parliament belongs to the people, and it is important that the young Jamaicans are given the opportunity to see democracy at work, to understand how national decisions are made, and to appreciate the responsibilities of citizens and our citizenship to public service. I trust all our visitors will find today's proceedings both informative and engaging, and remind those in the gallery that the chamber is governed by rules of order and decorum. You are therefore not to clap, make loud comments, or otherwise engage in any conduct that may disturb the proceedings of the House. Honorable members, we will now proceed with the business of the day. Call of the roll.
Mr. Clark, Mr. Green, Dr. Holness, Dr. Chang, Mrs. Williams, Mr. Bartlett, Ms. Grange, Dr. Tufton, Mr. Mackenzie, Mr. Montague, Mr. Vaz, Mr. Chuck, Mr. Charles Jr., Mr. Morgan, Ambassador Marks, Mr. Samuda, Dr. Wheatley, Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn, Mr. Terry Long, Mr. Whittle, Mrs. Dalrymple Filbert, Ms. Morrison, Ms. Lee, Mr. Donovan Williams, Mr. Main, Ms. Crawford, Mr. Delroy Williams, Ms. Hamilton, Mr. Seabright, Mr. Azan, Mr. Brown, Dr. Brown-Burke, Mr. Buchanan, Mr. Bunting, Ms. Burchell, Dr. Campbell, Mr. Cousins, Mr. Crawford, Ms. Daly, Dr. Dawes, Mr. Golding, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Hales, Mr. Hines, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Jackson, Ms. Jess, Mrs. Malahoo Fort, Mrs. Miller Bennett, Mr. Morris, Mrs. Nita Garvey, Mr. Newell, Mr. Paulwell, Mr. Phillips, Ms. Perkis, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Robinson, Dr. Russell, Ms. Shaw, Mr. Smith, Mr. Dwayne Vaz, and Mr. Warmington. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
House Leader.
Madam Speaker, we will proceed to public business.
Members, the question is that we proceed to public business for the benefit of the sectoral debates. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, today we have two presentations as we continue the sectoral debate. Let me join with you in welcoming the visitors to the House, especially the students. It's really good to see so many students from so many different institutions in the House today. We will first hear from the Minister with our portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development with responsibility for land titling and settlements. He is the Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western, and then we will hear from first-time Member of Parliament from Hanover Eastern, Ms. Andrea Perkins. So join me in welcoming the Honorable Robert Montague.
Madam Speaker, permission to speak from a seat other than my own.
Permission granted, Minister.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, may I commend you and your astute, fair, and determined leadership of this honorable House. My lady, stay strong. Firstly, I want to give thanks to the Heavenly Father for granting me this privilege. To the Most Honorable Prime Minister for appointing me to his cabinet, and to my colleagues from both sides, thanks for your guidance and friendship. Thank you, member from Eastern Portland. I love the color of your suit. Let me express my appreciation to the clerk and her staff, to Mrs. Arlene Williams, the best and hardest working permanent secretary in Jamaica. To Everett Hyatt, Willard Hilton, Shade Brown, Lisa K. Sadler, Lorraine McFarlane, thank you. To my security team, thanks for all you do. To Natalie Miranda, Deirdre Moulton Gray, Anne-Marie Pollock, Shauna Stewart, Shadeen Kelly, and Dujane Connage, my administrative staff, thank you. To the best management team, supervisors, counselors and caretakers, bloggers and party workers, thank you. To the great people of Western St. Mary, thank you for giving me the privilege of serving you for a fourth time. Madam Speaker, in June last year, when friends were few, the workers of Western St. Mary rallied. The people stood by me so that when a 19-point deficit was broadcast and bandied about, some wish that I was done, but I come with it just a come. The JLP team in Western St. Mary, with almost no resources, turned a 19-point deficit into a 5-point victory. And this was done in less than 3 months, and therefore placed us in the top 6 candidates with the most votes in the last election. Madam Speaker, that's the stuff that books are written about. The people of Western St. Mary know that this year we will complete the water projects. So Springfield, Heartlands, Halifax, Three Hills, Tower Isle, Brooklyn Road, Kidland, Charlestown, Arokobesa, Mile Gully, and Georgetown will see marked improvement. Bless you, Minister Samuda. The clinics in Fellowship Hall and Wood Park will soon be done, so thanks to the Honourable Minister Tufton and his team. And in Hunstown, thanks to the Allen family from Top Pen for donating lands free of cost, they will get a new clinic. I also wish to pause at this moment to express condolences to the family of Ione Brown, a midwife who conceptualized, advocated for, and worked towards establishing the Fellowship Hall Clinic. Nurse Brown passed at age 93. I wish to thank Minister Bartlett and his tourism team. Minister Grange, thanks for the work on the mini stadium, and we look forward to phase 2. Minister Green, the farmers and fisher folks say big up. And the people of Heartland say remember the commitment you publicly made to them when you came to Geisel at the Irish potato launch. Minister Morgan, all of Western St. Mary has asked me to thank you for what you are doing, but they're also asking when you're coming to tour our roads. Mango Valley and Mile Gully said that 1 p.m. promised them a road, and they are confident that he will follow through because he has never failed them yet. The Taki school community wants Dr. Dixon to know that they are still waiting patiently on her to purchase the land beside the school so that they can have one campus. I also wish to congratulate Taki as a powerhouse in schoolboy cricket. Recently, the school's under-14 cricket team bowled out York Castle High for 0 all-out in 9.2 overs. This has never happened before, but we're still checking the records. So congratulations, Taki High, coming from their main cricket sponsor. Madam, I will speak more about Western St. Mary in the other debate. But I have been entrusted with building out new systems and methods to making land titling and land settlement better, because we are building on a strong foundation to secure Jamaica's future. I also have a great team at the National Land Agency, one of the best agencies of government, if not the best. I wish to I wish to congratulate the National Land Agency on their 25th anniversary. Please take a bow, Ms. Walcott, on behalf of a great team at the NLA. Madam Speaker, it is always good to start at the beginning. We have found at the Land Agency that the oldest land title in Jamaica, Volume 2, Folio 1, is for 10 acres in Green Valley, Agwalta Vale, St. Mary, dated in 1894. We are appealing to anyone out there with an older title or any old title to come forward so we can have them recorded. There are approximately 970,000 parcels of land on our valuation roll. 550,000 do have titles, but we know that they have been informal subdivisions, so most of our lands do not have a registered title, and more do not have the title registered in the current occupant's name. We have 379 land settlements, a combination of land lease and land settlements, with 62,690 formal parcels of land. Our checks have so far revealed that approximately 35% of the 62,900 have been informally subdivided. So between untitled lands, informal subdivisions, non-owner occupants, and land settlements, we need approximately 600,000 new titles to completely solve the land titling challenges we face as a country. As a result, land cannot be properly passed through generations. Property disputes, death, broken families, and the true benefits cannot be realized from the land. Government cannot get the right amount of taxes, and citizens cannot get the services they need, like regular garbage collection, fire services, and street lights. We do, madam, have a problem. How are we as a government moving to solve the problem? We have elevated land titling portfolio to cabinet level. We are moving to solve the lack of human resources by partnering with the government and people of South Korea in opening a training school to train surveyors, draftsmen, readers, checkers, and all related professions in land matters except in lawyers. We thank the government and people of South Korea for signing off and funding this US $9 million project. The impact of this partnership will be enormous, and the bulk of the funds will be used to invest in our people and expand the pool of available professionals. It will also introduce new technologies and will increase our capacity to produce more titles. We have signed an agreement with the Certified Commercial Investment Member Institute, CCI-MI, to further train and certify our realtors. The CCI-MI is a world-recognized professional certification, only available in 31 countries, and Jamaica now makes 32. It is for our realtors and will result in more highly trained and skilled professionals in the real estate sector. We are putting on more workshops for lawyers on how to complete land applications, and these courses are accredited. We have increased our panels of referees from 1 to 5, and we intend to appoint more. We will increase our public education as to how to get a title. We are appointing more and more adjudication committees, and we are exploring the option of referring adverse possession applications to adjudication committees. We intend to digitize all our processes, including surveys, so that we can begin by next September the issuing of e-titles. This will make the process smoother, easier, and more secure. This will then allow us to do upwards of 30,000 or more e-titles per year. Madam Speaker, we now have a partnership with Fujisto to digitize our records and introduce new technologies into our processes to make them faster yet more secure. We intend by next September, as I said before, to begin issuing e-titles and recalling old titles. The e-title system will also help landowners to watch their properties so that they will be alerted if someone applies to title their lands. This will reduce the instances of persons moving to take over your land by adverse possession. There will be a fee, of course, for this property watch service. Madam Speaker, some people are abusing the adverse possession arrangements. Some have made an industry out of it. While we as a government support the productive use of land, we do not support wholesale and speculative possession. Equally, landowners here and abroad cannot have lands and do not exercise ownership. We appeal to you to visit your lands, fence it, use it productively, pay your taxes, or sell it. But do not just abandon it. Do not leave it to chance. However, we are examining how we can refer adverse possession applications to the local adjudication committees for their input on these applications, as the committee members are mainly from the local community and will be able to give more information rather than the referees who are stuck in Kingston. This, along with the property watch service, will help to level the playing field. But the best remedy is for you to use the land productively. We want our lands in production. We want to encourage landowners that they must watch their properties and make economic use of it. Paying a little taxes does not solve the adverse possession challenge. Landowners must also occupy and use their lands. It will also help the government by more accurately identifying idle lands. Digitizing the processes will also help us to identify and flag informal subdivisions whenever we are updating the valuation rolls. Madam Speaker, it will take us about 2 decades to get our titling issues resolved if we have the full cooperation of the public. Longer without it. We have 2 major streams for titling: systematic, voluntary, or ad hoc. Under the systematic land registration process, the government declares an area and provides surveyors to survey every parcel in the declared area, pays for the lawyers to do the applications, and produce the title. A caveat is then lodged against the title until the money is paid back. However, no interest is applied and you can pay in installments over time. The voluntary or ad hoc process is when you have land in an area that's not declared as systematic, so you do your own survey, pay your lawyer, or come to the LAMP office to do the application. Under the systematic land process, the government pays upfront, and in the ad hoc or voluntary land process, you pay upfront. Madam Speaker, many of our small land occupants find it a little challenging sometimes to find the surveyor's fees. So the Most Honorable Prime Minister has instructed that we find a solution. We have therefore proposed that a revolving fund will be established where landowners of 2 acres or less can apply for a surveyor's fee loan. Once the applicant applies through LAMP, an NLA-trained and certified lawyer or a recognized land management service company, they will qualify and these funds will go directly to the surveyor and a caveat lodged against the title so that the taxpayers will recover the money. This will greatly help many families who today cannot afford to pay a surveyor. In our drive for partnerships, Madam Speaker, we have taken our manifesto and election promise forward. We have met with our churches and their organizations, and we are working with them to utilize the window that has been established to get untitled church lands titled. We have trained their lawyers. We have listened to and helped to identify the issues as they refer the parcels to us. We are confident that church-owned lands, including schools, clinics, community playing fields, will eventually be titled, and we hope the churches will join us in encouraging others to get their titles. Madam Speaker, the National Land Agency, through the Commissioner of Lands, will expand the vendor's mortgage window. This will allow persons who have bought government lands to immediately get their titles with a registered vendor's mortgage. This will allow them to continue paying their installments, but they will have their titles in their hands. Madam Speaker, we are in the middle of an intensive consultation and discussion program as to our squatting challenges. We know that there is a need for land for the landless and also for orderly development. There is also the need for respect for property rights. Some of the issues under discussion are, should we reduce the time for adverse possession of crown lands? Should we increase the time for private lands for adverse possession? How do we balance the various needs? But we have settled on some points, Madam Speaker. No member of parliament, nor councillor, nor JP, nor big man, nor area leader can sell government land. So to those persons scamming people and says the MP send them, stop it. Because the MP never send you go do nothing like that. Madam Speaker, we want to remove the incentive. We want to remove the incentive for land scamming. Remember, government lands belong to the people. It is bought for development. People are squatting on lands reserved for schools, clinics, roadways, and even one historic site. This is a massive cost to rehabilitate and recycle areas after it has been informally settled. We have met with all the MPs with a squatting challenge. So as of today, June 9th, people who go onto crown lands will no longer be considered for a settlement program. If you're there already, you're there already. But we're not dealing with the new people. And after further investigations, those who sell crown lands will be prosecuted and those who buy will lose their money. Yes. So check with the National Land Agency before you buy any cheap land. Buying land is not like buying rice and flour. There is a legal process, but always remember, if it sounds too good to be true, then it is not true. Save your money. We have done drone and spatial surveys, and we know what is already on crown lands. So if you go on the land after today, you must face the consequences. In the meantime, we will soon announce a major program to address squatting in a structured, orderly, and legitimate manner. Madam Speaker, after Hurricane Melissa, this government moved swiftly to acquire containerized houses to help those whose houses were completely destroyed. The Prime Minister has recently asked me to give some oversight towards the completion of this project. We collectively express support to the families that were affected by Hurricane Melissa and express our deepest regrets to those who mourn the loss of loved ones. As I gather the facts, examine the systems, and move to build out the units for our fellow Jamaicans, I make an appeal for us to be united as a nation in this effort. I seek consensus, not confrontation. I seek help, not hindrance. I seek solutions, not setbacks. The people need solutions, solace, and stability. To help our brothers and sisters in need, we must be our sole aim, our sacred objective, and our national goal. It is the first time Jamaica has attempted this type of project in such a big way. So let me admit that we will not always get everything right every time. We are only humans. But we must use all resources, all safeguards, and oversights to implement the project. We have just established and signed a memorandum of understanding with other ministries, agencies, and stakeholders to share data on available land, occupancy, property damage, and beneficiary information. This will help to prevent duplication and delays and lessen informal squatting. So to that end, we established a broad-based housing committee to not only deal with containerized housing, but housing in Jamaica in general. The type, the needs, the standards, the affordability. We invited people from both local and central government, professional bodies, the private sector, our universities, contractors, developers, hard trusts, and all agencies that had dealings with housing. The Integrity Commission was invited and attended, and we have also extended an invitation to the Auditor General. The opposition is an integral player, and I wish to pause to publicly thank Mr. Mark Golding for his gracious and kind letter. in which he brought to my attention that the person we had listed as the opposition representative had not been named by him. We acknowledged this and added his nominee while still retaining the original person. We wish to place on record our thanks for all the committee members for their contribution. So much can be achieved when we work together. This committee produced a repair manual done by the Bureau of Standards based on the building codes, suggested no-build zones, and we will be segmenting the building code to better meet the needs of our people. The Prime Minister from early in the process had mandated that the basis and accompanying works for these units should come from donated funds. This is so that people who donated their hard-earned cash could clearly see and know how their money was spent and on what. Furthermore, in years to come, they can come and look at the basis to these containerized homes and feel satisfied that their donation helped to bring comfort to a family, shelter after a storm, and a home for a child. The Auditor General's report on donated funds has vindicated the Prime Minister's wise decision. As you go through the report, it has not said any funds are missing or misappropriated. The spend has been slow, that's true, because we are following other processes and navigating uncharted waters. But the hard-earned donations of Jamaicans, foreigners, agencies, companies, and partners are all accounted for. All of Jamaica should take a bow. This is a proud moment in our journey as a young nation. Having been hit by the most devastating weather event, thousands of people were displaced, many government systems and people affected, prolonged period without basic services and even food shortages. In some areas, farms destroyed, but nevertheless, we have held our collective head high because the people's hard-earned money that was donated is all accounted for. No thought, no suggestion, no conclusion of any irregularity. Prime Minister, congratulations. Once again, you have demonstrated the type of leadership that continues to make Jamaicans proud. The audit was not only about how much was unspent or spent. It also showed some gaps and showed up some weaknesses. And the country can be assured that our Prime Minister has already moved to implement the recommendations, strengthen the weaknesses, and close the gaps. The Auditor General's report was good for Jamaica. It shows that the government can account for donated money. It helps our organizations, charities, and other institutions who also receive funds. It lights the way to accountability. Maybe some of these bodies who got donated funds should at least say how much was donated, how much was spent, and how much is left. And of course, what are they going to use it for? Accountability requirements are not just only for government, it is for all Jamaicans. It was originally felt that some 12,000 homes were needed, but many people pulled on insurance, family, community, their own resources and began to rebuild. The government also assisted thousands under the Roofs program. This government, this Andrew Holness-led government, has already spent some $67 billion on hurricane relief and recovery. And Madam Speaker, we have spent it while still maintaining the fundamentals of the economy. The sacrifice of our people, the wise leadership of our Prime Minister and his team has allowed us to spend the $67 billion on our people while not ruining the economy. This is not a run with it moment, this is management. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security and the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development now estimate that approximately 2,000 to 2,500 people need the containerized solutions. We have an order 2,524 units, and the government and people of China have donated 200 units for a total of 2,724. Of that amount, 1,424 are on the island. 900 are being held by the Jamaica Defense Force in Western Jamaica. And Madam Speaker, 1,200 of these units now in the island were bought by the National Housing Trust, and more is to come because the Housing Trust is committed to buying 2,500 units. We thank the National Housing Trust, and therefore this questions the argument that the National Housing Trust is not providing enough for enough Jamaicans. When we moved to build out the bases for some units in Westmoreland, for some persons in shelters, we had already completed 5 bases when an agency rightfully questioned an issue, and we had to stop and rework the matter. That incident provided valuable insight, and we are moving to give the beneficiaries a grant and allow them to build their own bases, but they must be inspected and passed by the municipal authorities in their locale. We also wish to thank the Red Cross, which has donated 300 wooden houses, as well as other NGOs and individuals for their assistance with providing housing help. The Red Cross houses will be distributed by them. The Honourable Prime Minister has also instructed the National Housing Trust to build out a section of any current scheme, especially in Western Jamaica, to accommodate persons who are to be relocated. This will help in reducing the cost of support infrastructure. We are hopeful that each NHT scheme island-wide will have that section that our less fortunate people can be adequately catered for. On this note, the PM has also instructed the NHT to seek their board's consent to solve the sewage issue for the Lighthouse Road squatter regularization project in St. Mary. The issue of delayed, misaligned recommendations or advice and slow bureaucracy makes the case why NARA is needed and needed now. Madam Speaker, for any unused units, here is the plan. We are going to keep some units for future disasters and store them with ADPEN. Other units will be donated to those infirmaries with space to help reduce our social patients in hospital and release the estimated 270 beds that are occupied in our public hospitals. These beds are needed by those who are genuinely sick. The new social housing program will benefit, if any is left, and other social programs, including those operated by members of Parliament. It must be noted that the base and attendant works for the units include the bench platforms, sewage system, steps to get into the unit, the cost of transporting the unit from the storage site to the construction site, clearing the construction site, and the lift truck to lift the unit so that it can be locked in. So it's not just about building the base. It's also about how people will have to get into the unit. And that is why we have decided to allow the beneficiaries and their communities to assist. When done this way, better care will be taken of the units. Madam Speaker, the government through the Ministry of Housing owns and maintains 113 housing schemes. Some as rental schemes and some as freehold, but they were never transferred to the owners. But starting this year, we will have them assess and do the corrective works on at least one scheme so that we can apply to the municipal authorities for certificates of completion, have them strataed, and then titles issued to the beneficiaries. They have been waiting too long. Madam Speaker, based on the amnesty for people owing $150,000 or less to government for housing units, we have found that over 2,000 housing accounts qualify. This government, this caring government, is moving to produce and release titles for the long-awaiting first-time homeowners. The ministry, as part of the hurricane response, assisted over 3,000 persons with copies of their documents that were destroyed or damaged at no cost to them. We had the documents on file, copies of them on file, so we were more than happy to produce copies for the people. We have distributed over 1,000 titles so far this year, and we have more to do. As a matter of fact, in Mandeville, they are now calling the Prime Minister the titler. This financial year, we intend to produce over 5,000 titles, including in Southwest St. Andrew. Our surveyors are currently doing 4,000 surveys, and in partnership with the NHT, we intend to do more. We are in discussion with the Ministry of Mining to finalize a project to create titles for the over 3,000 Jamaicans who have been relocated by the bauxite industry and cannot get titles. This government, this Andrew Holness-led government, is moving to correct that. Madam Speaker, it is our intention this year to pass the Registration Shared Community Act, which has been referred to as Joint Select. We also intend to introduce an amendment to the Registration of Titles Act, which will have consequential amendments to the Special Provisions Act, the Land Surveyors Act, and the Land Valuation Act. Madam Speaker, there are too many Jamaican families who have worked land for years and cannot realize the full benefits from the land because it is not theirs. Too many schools, churches, and clinics cannot get access to grant funding because they have no proof of ownership. Too many wasted hours because of family fights over deadlift. Too many lives have been lost. Yes. Too much wasted potential, but Madam Speaker, no more. No more. This government is determined to right the wrongs of the past and properly title every square inch of Jamaica using technology, training, and partnerships. We are building on the strong foundations for generations to come. To those awaiting containerized housing solutions, we seek your continued patience as we work through the bureaucracy. The solution is close. Yes, we understand that sometimes the bureaucracy feels like it might kill democracy, but there are laws, rules, and regulations that we must observe. We seek your understanding. We were happy to help those that needed to copy documents, happy that we have begun to issue titles or carve the path for you in government high-rise buildings to get your title. Thanks for the professionals' help in establishing suggested no-bill zones as we recover forward. I also extend thanks to the staff in the various government entities and ministries as we work to improve our systems. Madam Speaker, my father of blessed memory, who would have been 109 last Sunday, has always said, everyone should get their name on one of 3 rolls or books. The book of life, you must, he says, take the golden pen and write your name up there. The voter's roll, so that you can continue to exercise your franchise and vote for the Jamaica Labour Party to continue in office. And finally, he says, get your name in the Registrar's Book of Titles. Own a little piece of Jamaica. Own a piece of the rock and make sure it is properly titled. Madam Speaker, this is not just about land. It is about building strong foundations, member from St. Thomas East. This is a call for all of us to use our energies and efforts to get our people's titles so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity. Madam Speaker, if it so pleases you.
Members of this Honorable House, I crave your indulgence. The gallery was filled with the visitors for our previous presenter, and we're just allowing a little time to allow persons on the outside to come into the gallery for the remaining presentation. And as a matter of fact, let me take this opportunity, since I see an error in the presentation on the screen. Last week, a presentation was done with the PMP logo, and this week, another presentation more subtly done with the vote arrangement, vote like this. I am encouraging members to desist. You will see, if you'd like me to say, it is Member Campbell, Dayton Campbell's presentation, which had up the PMP logo, and today, Mr. Montague's presentation, Minister Montague's presentation, more subtly done, without the logo, but a vote like this card, though it was smaller. So I am encouraging members to appreciate that there is certain decorum practice in the House. So since we are waiting, I'm using the time to remind members that you are not allowed to put up party logos at all. Okay, members, please. You know, members, before I close, since I have another female to rise to her feet for presentation, I will make another observation. When females stand in this House for their presentations, I find sometimes the type of heckling and the statements made on the floor to be very inappropriate, just generally. For both sides, I am pointing it out. When members are on their feet, we are all deserving of equal respect. We will now invite to her feet the member from Hanover Eastern to make her presentation. Turn your mic on, please. I don't know.
They've been here. We don't know. We have to ask the marshal. We were told that they were going to come in.
Member Perkins, you may sit. Members, I'm asking you to just give some additional time to the member. House Leader, a moment, please. In the interest of time, let me recommit the items on the agenda, which are short, so we can get them out of the way while we await the visitors. House Leader.
Yes, Madam Speaker. We'll get back to public business, so we'll just go through the agenda, coming back to Ms. Perkins.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. Statement by ministers? None. Announcements, Clerk?
Laid on the table of the House are the following. The Insurance Amendment of 20th Schedule, Number 2 Regulations 2026 under the Insurance Act. Auditor General Department's Performance Audit Report, National Water Commission, Effectiveness of Managing Capital Projects, Assessing Budget Credibility at the Entity Level. Auditor General's Department Certified Appropriation Accounts under Head 26059, Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency for the year 2022-2023. Integrity Commission's investigation report into concerns that the following officers employed to the Information and Communication Technology Authority failed to file their statutory declaration with the Commission for the year 2023 contrary to law and their indicative ruling. 1. Mr. Walt Brown, a department head, data management, and 2. Mr. Mark Murray, a senior programmer analyst. Annual report and audited financial statements of the Sugar Industrial Authority for the year ended October 31, 2020, and its related ministry paper numbered 35 of 2026 titled Annual Report and Audited Financial Statements of the Sugar Industrial Authority for the crop year 2019-2020. Financial statements of the Consolidated Fund for year ended March 31, 2026, and its related ministry paper numbered 36 of 2026 titled Financial Statements of the Consolidated Fund for the year ended March 31, 2026. Annual Report of the Board of Supervision for the Relief of Poor in Jamaica in relation to the following fiscal years: 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, and 2017-2018. And finally, the Integrity Commission's investigation report into concerns that Ms. Dana Ashpole, a Chief Executive Officer, formerly employed to the Cannabis Licensing Authority, failed to file her statutory declaration with the Commission for the year 2023 contrary to law and its indicative ruling. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Bills brought from the Senate. Clerk.
The following is a message from the President of the Senate. To the Honorable House of Representatives, I have the honor to advise the Honorable House of Representatives that on the 5th day of June 2026, a bill entitled An Act to Amend the National Housing Trust Act was passed in the Senate without amendment. The Honorable Thomas Tavares Finson, OJ, CD, KC, JP, President of the Senate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally. House Leader, in respect of the Civil Aviation Amendment Act, we have not yet received it, though it is on the agenda. As soon as it comes, we will make that announcement. Continue from there, House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the next meeting of the House, I will move the following motion. Be it resolved that the Insurance Amendment of 20th Schedule, Number 2 Regulations 2026, which was laid on the table of the House on the 9th day of June 2026, be referred to the Regulations Committee of the House for consideration and report. Madam Speaker, I further beg to give notice at a later stage today, I will move for the suspension of standing orders to enable me to take the motion.
Minister Vaz. Notices of motions given orally in respect of trade. Mike, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to give notice that at the next meeting of the House, I'll move the following motion. The Trade Act. The Trade Standard Incandescent Light Source Prohibition except under License Order 2025 Resolution, whereas Section 81A, B, and C, respectively of the Trade Act, herein referred to as the Act, provides that the Minister may by order prohibit absolutely the importation or exportation of goods or any class or description of goods from or to any country. B, prohibit importation or exportation of goods of any class or description of goods or to any country except under the authority of a license granted by the Minister. And C, regulate the distribution, purchase, or sale of goods or any class or description of the goods. And whereas Section 10.1 of the Act provides that notwithstanding anything contained in Interpretation Act, an order made by the Minister under the section may provide that the subject to affirmative resolution in respect of any breach to which subscription 2 refers, that the offender shall be liable on summary conviction thereof before a parish court to such fine not exceeding $2 million or to such term of imprisonment with or without hard labor not exceeding 2 years as may be prescribed therein. And whereas Section 10.2 of the Act states that where under any such order the importation of goods of any class of the description of goods from any country is prohibited except under the authority of a license granted by the Minister, any goods imported in breach of such prohibition shall be deemed to be prohibited goods within the meaning of the Customs Act, which have been imported contrary to the prohibition against their importation and the provision of Section 210 of the Act. The said Act shall apply accordingly. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Honourable House as follows. The resolution may be cited as the Trade Standard Incandescent Light Sources Prohibition except under License Order 2025 Resolution, and the Trade Standard Incandescent Light Sources Prohibition except under License Order 2025 Resolution was laid on the table of the House on the 9th day of December 2025 is hereby affirmed. Madam Speaker, I beg to further give notice that at a later stage today, I'll move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion.
Thank you, Minister. Minister Vaz, a moment, please. No, Minister Vaz, approach. Proceed, Minister Vaz.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can I ask that the Trade Act, the Trade Standard Incandescent Light Sources Prohibition, except under license order, is changed from 2025 to 2026, the resolution?
Noted for the records, Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I now move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion, notice of which I gave earlier.
Thanks, Minister. We will go through the remainder of the agenda and then go to public business, at which point, also, let me just quickly finish questions and answers to questions. Motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice, motions relating to the sitting of the House, motions for leave to introduce bills, presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained. We're back in public business. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, we will now take the first-time Member of Parliament making her first maiden sectorial presentation.
For
the
those
member
seated,
from Hanover Eastern.
For those seated in the gallery, unfortunately you missed the opening of Parliament, but you are not allowed to clap or make any noise in the gallery. You should do nothing in the House that disturbs the proceeding of the House. Those are the rules of the House of Parliament. Thank you so much. Member, I join the members of the House in congratulating you for joining this House and look forward to your presentation within the time limit allowed. Your mic is on.
Madam Speaker, permission to speak from a chair that is not of my own.
Permission granted.
Madam Speaker, I rise in this honorable House acutely aware of the weight of this moment, not merely as opposition spokesperson on tourism and linkages, but as the first woman Eastern Hanover has ever sent to represent the constituency, delivering verdict that echoes beyond the constituency boundaries. Real representation matters. Thank you, Eastern Hanover. And thank you to my hospitality workers that are here with me. Madam Speaker, I am equally grateful to the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Mark Golding, for his confidence in entrusting me with this critical portfolio. Before I address the substance of this presentation, permit me to acknowledge those without whom I could not stand here today. To my family, my father, my mother, my spouse, and my daughter, Italy. You are my foundation and my fire. To my dedicated councillors, Councillor Andrea Dehaney Grant, Councillor Lennox Frey, and Winter McIntosh. To my constituency staff and secretary, my executive team, you are the engine behind this opportunity. I am profoundly grateful. Madam Speaker, it is from this place of gratitude and with a full weight of accountability that history demands that I now turn to the urgent matters before us. Tourism is not an abstraction in Jamaica. It is the school fees, it is the mortgage, it is the food on the table. And today, for too many Jamaicans, it is the anxiety of waiting for a hotel that has not reopened, for a paycheck that has not come. Tourism is Jamaica's largest foreign exchange earner and one of our most people-intensive industry. Yet those people are in crisis. This government has mastered the art of press release. It has not mastered the art of governance. This is not a celebration, Madam Speaker. It is an accountability audit. Today I will examine the full tourism ecosystem from the skies to the roads, from the grand resort to the small hotel. I will open the books on what goes into Jamaica's tourism pie, how it is being baked, who is getting the lion's share, and who is being left to fight for the crumbs. We will ask the question the minister has not answered, and we will present the framework Jamaica needs. Madam Speaker, the government loves the headline. Jamaica welcomed 4.27 million visitors in 2024, generating approximately $4.35 billion US dollars. These numbers are impressive. They reflect hard work across the industry. Madam Speaker, numbers don't bleed, workers do. Behind every reported statistic is a workforce in distress and a local business sector under siege. So let us examine what these government numbers actually tell us and what they are designed to conceal. Madam Speaker, only 9 days ago, the Minister of Tourism was not in this chamber. He was not in his constituency or meeting hospitality workers in month 9 without pay. Instead, Madam Speaker, he was in the Kimberly Hotel in New York City, making yet another grand announcement. In the next 10 years, 10 million visitors, 10 billion US dollars, a new acronym, a new press release, a new headline, likely another missed target. And not to mention of why full hotel workers, the reopening of the hotels are still slated for 2027. Hurricane Melissa exposed the fragility beneath brochures. The minister speaks of detailed assessment. Workers speak of 9 months without pay. The gap between ministerial announcement and lived reality has never been wider. Madam Speaker, as someone who has worked directly in the trenches of tourism ecosystem, I do not view tourism as a set of abstract macroeconomic figures. I do not view it as a collection of glossy press releases or international billboard campaigns. No, Madam Speaker. Tourism is our pie, our very, very important pie. It is an economic asset so vital to our national survival, so deeply funded by the sweat and taxes of our citizens, that every single Jamaican deserves to fully understand what goes into this pie, how it is being baked, its current condition, and most importantly, how it is being shared. To understand this pie, we must first look at its core ingredients. Tourism is fundamentally defined as a travel and stay of people outside their home destinations and the activities they engage in. Therefore, our complete Jamaican tourism pie requires specific, deeply interconnected ingredients. Madam Speaker, the ingredients include the travel component, which rely primarily on international airlift, but also our cruise shipping gateways, the accommodations, ranging from the multinational all-inclusive resorts to our local boutique hotels, guest houses, and community short-term rentals, such as Airbnbs. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, the culture and entertainment, the unique experiences, our world-class music, heritage, our food, and the general way of life that draw people to our shores. Fourthly, Madam Speaker, one must not forget the production linkages, the local farmers, manufacturing plants, and our entrepreneurs in the creative sector. Finally, Madam Speaker, the human capital, The foundational bedrock of the entire operation is the moment of truth when our visitors interact with our hospitality workers, transport providers, our Juta, Jekyll, and Maxi drivers, our craft vendors. Madam Speaker, the linkages agenda was built on a simple premise. Jamaican tourism should generate Jamaican prosperity. The evidence before this House today shows that this premise has not been fulfilled. Madam Speaker, as far back as 2016, Minister Bartlett used what he termed as a tremendous opportunity for trade that could be as high as 56 billion annually, and that's Jamaican dollars for processed foods, 5.3 billion for fruits, and 1.6 billion for vegetables. Madam Speaker, the minister stated that annual leakage in the manufacturing sector is estimated at some $65.4 billion as the total annual expenditure by the tourism sector on manufactured foods. Madam Speaker, the minister committed to working closely to local suppliers to help them overcome the constraints that may be preventing them from benefiting from formal tourism sector, such as inability to supply in large quantities, lack of consistency of supplies, and poor quality of products. He went on, Madam Speaker, promised that his primary objective was to reduce imports and plug the economic leakage. Madam Speaker, that was a decade ago. That must be the 10 he was talking about at Kimberly Hotel in New York City. Far from reducing the leakage, the demand for fruits and vegetables in our sector has exploded to a staggering 67 billion Jamaican dollars, and processed foods have shattered all barriers to hit $115 billion and are still being imported from overseas wholesalers. Madam Speaker, foreign-owned mega resorts imports its fruits and processed meats from overseas wholesalers, while hard-working farmers in St. Elizabeth, in Hanover, watch their crops rot in the field. The very imports he specifically named and promised to eliminate have skyrocketed under his watch. Madam Speaker, our national food import bill has hit an all-time record high, $1.46 billion US. He promised to fix the leakage. The leakage is now a flood. Then 10 years, one promise, zero results. Madam Speaker, Minister of Tourism announced strategy to grow the tourism industry with a 5-pillar plan. Chief among this was tapping into new markets, and the multiple destinations have lamented on Jamaica's overdependence on North America. In 2019, COVID-19 pandemic, he highlighted one basket vulnerability. His words, "This, Madam Speaker, we cannot put all our eggs in one basket of North America. If that market sneezes, Jamaica catches pneumonia. True economic resilience demands that we open direct paths to the south and across the Atlantic." Again, in 2022, Minister highlighted, and I quote, our high dependence on, the Minister highlighted in 2022, our high dependence on source markets like the US and Canada leaves us entirely at the mercy of external border decisions, flights cancellations, and foreign health advisories. Diversification is no longer an option. His words, not mine. It is a matter of survival. Madam Speaker, let me repeat and emphasize, the minister said, diversification is no longer an option. It is a matter of survival. Again in 2024, Madam Speaker, the minister reiterated that we're moving to break historically singular reliance by opening the Middle Eastern and African markets. We need visitors whose travel habits are decoupled from the economic cycles of the United States. Madam Speaker, the minister speaks eloquently about the tourism linkages network. Yet under his watch, international financial benchmarks reveal a scandalous reality. Yet under his watch, linkage has become a euphemism for massive economic leakage. For every single dollar spent in an all-inclusive tourist, in an all-inclusive hotel in Jamaica, up to 70 cents leaks straight back out of our economy to the overseas travel agents, foreign-owned mega airlines, and international supply chains. Every single dollar earned in this sector leaves Jamaica immediately. It does not circulate. It does not multiply. It takes an immediate U-turn back across our borders. Madam Speaker, speaking of the Middle East, in 2022, he went to Riyadh and Dubai, promising a Middle Eastern corridor. By the end of 2025, the arrival count was a mere net increase of 330 people. Madam Speaker, what about Africa? The minister went to Nigeria in 2021, staged a massive photo opportunity, and promised a historic gateway. What is the net increase? By the end of 2025, the arrival count was 1,440,000. A net growth exactly 320 people over his baseline, while his visit to India, and India is one of the largest, fastest growing countries in the world, only produced a maga 360% increase. In Jamaica, there is a saying that talk is cheap. That is costing us. Madam Speaker, there is a concept in the Ministry of Tourism that is termed seat support, which is merely a disguise for flights coming into Jamaica. Since 2015, this administration has spent $2.86 billion on seat support. Madam Speaker, it would be good if the minister could report to this Parliament on the amount spent on achieving less than half of the percent of our visitor arrival. Madam Speaker, despite the multiple utterances for the importance of diversification, what has happened to our primary market in the meantime? In 2017, the United States accounted for 64% of our total stopover arrivals. By the end of 2025, our reliance on the US market had ballooned to 71%. Combined with Canada, North America now commands a staggering 84% of our entire market. Madam Speaker, things have not gotten worse, but much worse. The minister spent billions of taxpayers' dollars flying across the world to find new ingredients, and his own Jamaica Tourist Board statistics show he has made the Jamaican tourism pie more vulnerable to a single external economy that it was a decade ago. Madam Speaker, the minister is completely silent on our cruise shipping sector, because the reality is an absolute embarrassment to this administration. He has made statements claiming that the cruise sector lives up to expectations, but the only expectation that has been met is his expectation that nobody would check the math. Let us unmask the numbers. In 2019, before the pandemic, Jamaica welcomed 1,444,233 cruise passengers to our shores. That was 2019. Fast forward to the end of 2025. Jamaica finished the year welcoming 1.1 million 361,000 cruise passengers. Madam Speaker, our cruise sector has declined. Madam Speaker, our cruise sector has declined by 28% compared to 7 years ago. Madam Speaker, we're facing a massive shortage, nearly 438,000 visitors who are completely missing from our ports. Madam Speaker, I seek protection. Let me reiterate, Madam Speaker.
Members, please allow the members.
Chest up my time. Madam Speaker, a shortage of nearly 438,000 visitors who are completely missing from our ports. 438,000 visitors using our taxi service to buy our craft, to experience our attractions. Madam Speaker, let's go deeper into the math. Government's inability to reclaim cruise market share has cost our tourism practitioners over $3 million in passenger opportunities. An assumption that $10 spent per guest would mean that the economy would have lost $30 million and 4.5 billion Jamaican dollars. Madam Speaker, could it be that I am making an unfair critique of Jamaica's tourism minister? It is the global cruise industry has not rebounded since the COVID-19 pandemic. The answer, my colleagues, on the other side is a resounding no. Global cruise volume has skyrocketed to an all-time high of 37.2 million passengers, a 25% global expansion over 2019. Further, Madam Speaker, could one say that the cruise...
Hold on, ma'am. I've stopped your time. Could you please take your seat? I have stopped the time for the member from Hanover Eastern and for the member from St. Catherine East Central. The member from St. Catherine East Central. I am calling to the member from St. Catherine East Central.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Andrea. I am thanking her. Thanking her. Have some respect for the speaker. Respect the speaker. Have some respect for the speaker. Have no respect for the speaker. Have some respect for the speaker.
Members, for those members who seek the protection of the Speaker, it would be perfectly in order for the person on their feet to ask. The Speaker will not take instructions in respect of protection from other members of the House. So, member, you are guided to address the Speaker of the House yourself. That is when I will intervene. Additionally, members, a lot of what you do on the floor, I keep repeating it and say on the floor, is not heard up here at the top where I am seated. And so, I am asking you again to be so guided. It works for you and it works against you. There is no additional time left because I have asked that the clock be stopped to address the disturbance of the member on her feet. Now, members, when the disturbance comes from the opposite side of the House, unless the individual is very close to the mic or very loud, the only place they are causing disturbance is in this House. It is not heard outside, all right? Now, members, those who are in closest proximity to the mic, your disruptions are heard far more loud on the media. I will not repeat this because I'm sure enough persons are seated in the House, and I suspect this is not my first or second time saying this. Members, I'm going to ask you to allow the member from Hanover Eastern to complete her presentation in silence as is required by the standing orders of this House. Member, could you please turn your mic on? Member from Hanover Eastern. You may proceed.
Madam Speaker, the Jamaica Union of Travelers Association was created by the People's National Party Minister Francis Tolo, with one explicit mission that it should be one avenue of Jamaican ownership. Together with Jekyll and Maxie, they represent generations of Jamaican families who built their livelihoods on tourism transportation. Madam Speaker, these local grassroots ambassadors are being systematically displaced. This government has allowed major hotel operators to establish their own in-house transportation companies, systematically cutting out Juta and Jekyll operators. Many all-inclusive properties, foreign companies control transportation, while local drivers still pay parking fees to access compounds. The all-inclusive model is a vertical integration machine. The room, the food, the entertainment, the water sports, and now the vehicle, all under one foreign corporate umbrella. It is colonization all over again. The structure ensures the bulk of tourism revenue never touches Jamaican soil. Madam Speaker, during my tenure in hospitality industry, 14 of them were inside the vacation club segment. I speak from personal and professional experience. There are approximately 20 vacation clubs across 15 hotels in Jamaica. The majority Spanish operated. This segment generates approximately $150 million US every year. And the Jamaicans were strategically kept out of management of every single one. Every project director, expatriate. Every sales director, expatriate. Paid in US dollars and Mexican pesos in Jamaica. Jamaican professionals on the sales floor generating the revenue, demonstrating the competence, while foreigners held the titles and collected the US dollar denominated salaries. But the indignity does not end there, Madam Speaker. It is compounded by a practice that is as insulting as it is deliberate. Many of these Jamaican professionals, the ones deemed unworthy of the director title, are routinely used to train the very expatriates, who are then placed above them. Jamaican knowledge, Jamaican expertise, Jamaican institutional memory transferred, extracted, and handed to a foreign national who arrives knowing less, earns more, and leaves with everything the Jamaican taught them. And there is something still worse. Madam Speaker, this is a serious indictment on the Ministry of Labor. as many of these directors do not arrive through the conventional recruitment process. They arrive as vacationers, checking into the very hotels where they will manage the club. Within approximately 2 months, they are granted work permits for jobs that qualified Jamaicans are demonstrably capable of performing. They come as tourists, they stay as directors, and the work permit that should have gone to a Jamaican is issued in 2 months to a vacationer who never left. Meanwhile, the Jamaican working beside them are hired on short-term contracts with mandatory contract breaks and deliberate interruption of continuous employment to prevent them from accumulating the rights and the permanence that Jamaican labor law would otherwise guarantee them. The expatriate gets the work permit. In 2 months, the Jamaican gets the contract break to ensure she never becomes permanent. Madam Speaker, in December 2025, I wrote to the Minister of Tourism 7 specific demands on behalf of the workers facing a year without income. The Minister's response, silence. When Hurricane Melissa struck, hotel operators projected 120 days closure. 6 months mortgage moratoriums were granted. That was the plan. Then the plan changed. Hotels announced reopening in August, in October, in November. 9 months, 12 months. But the moratorium remained at 6 months. Make it make sense. Madam Speaker, in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, the Tourism Enhancement Fund launched the Tourism Housing Assistance Recovery Program known as TARP, a program that promised to aid tourism workers affected by the storm, workers whose homes were damaged and destroyed while they were on the job serving Jamaica's visitors. A promise was made. Let me tell this House what that promise looks like in practice. We are now 9 months into yet another hurricane season. 9 days, rather. 9 days for my perfect ones on the other side. 9 days into a new season. From my office, 30 names were submitted. Tourism workers from Eastern Hanover, men and women who lost roofs, lost walls, lost everything. To date, 3 have received assistance. The government is supposed to give them, not me. 3 out of 30. From the office of the Member of Parliament from St. James Southern, 20 names were submitted. 1 person has received assistance out of 20. Madam Speaker, among those names, still awaiting is a cost control clerk, a woman, a mother, a family of 3. She did her job. She kept the records, balanced the books, held the hotel's accounts together. And when the storm passed, she had no home. I have to shout if noise has been made on the other side. Today, Madam Speaker, the woman is sleeping in her car, in cups. Check me after this presentation. Her family of 3 living under a tent, waiting for a program that carries the name of the very industry she gave her time. Waiting for government that promised to see her, waiting for help that has not come. Madam Speaker, I ask the Minister directly, what is the status of the THAR program? How many applications have been processed nationally? How many workers have received assistance? What is the total disbursement to date? And what is the timeline for honoring the commitments made to hundreds of tourism workers still waiting? These are men and women on whom this entire industry depends. They welcome visitors to our country paradise. They smile through the exhaustion. They serve with warmth and professionalism. And then they go home to a living nightmare. Damaged walls, leaking roofs, mold spreading where the floodwaters came in. And the pattern is deliberate. Long-serving employees, 18 years of service, are summoned to human resources departments and told to go home or face redundancy. While they sit at home, though, contract workers are deployed to those same properties. We need an intervention. This is not a coincidence, Madam Speaker. This is a strategy. Hurricane Melissa has been used as a pretext to casualize Jamaica's hospitality workers. 3 months contract, no security, no redundancy protections, no dignity. Michael Manley gave dignity to Jamaica's workers. What this government's silence is enabling is the dismantling of everything he fought to establish. Tourism workers deserve transparency on hotel opening timelines, mortgage moratoriums extended to match actual reopening dates, and ministerial oversight of every redundancy process in this sector. Yes. Madam Speaker, Brand Jamaica is nothing without her music. It is history, resistance, joy, and the healing wrapped in rhythm. Reggae is Jamaica's greatest cultural export. Yet, Madam Speaker, there is a painful irony. When visitors check into most all-inclusive hotels expecting the soul of Jamaica, they find imported overseas performers, while our talented, gifted entertainers are idle at home, displaced in their own country, watching foreigners profit off a sound their ancestors created. Madam Speaker, this is cultural exploitation. Madam Speaker, Jamaica's small accommodation sector, the Airbnbs, guest houses, boutique hotels, and family-run properties are the invisible backbone of our tourism industry. They're Jamaican-owned, community-embedded, locally rooted. They serve the diaspora visitors, cultural tourists, and the independent travelers who want to understand Jamaica, not merely consume it. The Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association has explicitly declared that our local properties require a sustained 70% national occupancy rate to remain healthy and comfortable to support our workers. Yet this administration has failed baseline targets year after year. In 2017, occupancy slipped to 64%. In 2019, it fell right back to 64%. Following passage of Hurricane Melissa, our occupancy has plummeted to a dismal year-to-date average of just 53%. Our hotels are half empty. Our workers are facing catastrophic shift cuts. And what was this government's response to small operators in crisis? It was not support. It was not relief. It was a tax that slipped through this parliament like a thief in the night. 2 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, at the tail end of a marathon sitting, this government sneaks through a revenue measure. They passed a law forcing our local Airbnb operators to pay a staggering 15% general consumption tax starting April 1st, 2027, without a single shred of public consultation. They demand first world tax compliance from a backyard host, but give them third world parish infrastructure in return. The Tourism Enhancement Fund spend millions making the hotel corridors pristine. The roads leading to local guest houses are riddled with craters that visitors cancel their bookings out of pure frustration. They subsidize foreign capital, but they penalize local hustle. The global tourism trend moving in the direction of small operators, authenticity, community experience, local character. We are squandering that positioning through neglect and punitive taxation. The People's National Party does not believe that Jamaicans should be tenants in their own tourism industry. We do not believe our people should settle for crumbs. We do not believe our people in tourism should settle for crumbs. We believe in a tourism model anchored completely on economic equity, local ownership, and structural dignity. I say this directly to government benches. Govern for the worker, the artist, the the taxi driver, the guest house owner, the farmer, the pensioner, not for the boardrooms. Jamaica tourism is our most powerful economic asset, but an economy that extracts from Jamaicans while pretending to serve them is not a success story. It is a scandal with good photography. The choice before us is clear. We can continue to manage a 21st century plantation behind a five-star brochure, or we can choose to build a democratic economy where the people who bake the tourism pie finally, Madam Speaker, we can continue to manage a 21st century plantation behind a five-star brochure, or we can choose to build a democratic, inclusive economy where the people who bake the tourism pie finally get an equitable slice. Yes. Jamaica stands at a crossroads. The long-serving employees in month 9 are watching. Yes. Jamaica deserves better. They deserve better. Yes. And this parliament must deliver. Yes.
House Leader, member from St. Catherine, the member from St. Catherine, member from St. Andrew West. Mine? House Leader.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, let us firstly thank the Minister in charge of land titling and settlements for an extremely substantial presentation, right, short and to the point. I want to commend the member from Hanover Eastern for her first presentation. A quite fiery presentation. I am very sure the Minister of Tourism will respond next week when he speaks appropriately. Madam Speaker, we are in public business, and now the Minister of Energy will take the Shipping Prevention of Garbage Pollution Regulations 2016, which were laid on the table of the House before. Turn over to the Minister of Transportation and Energy. Madam Speaker, I therefore move for us to suspend the sectorial debate until tomorrow.
Thank you, House Leader. Question is that we suspend the sectorial debate until tomorrow, June 10 at 2 p.m. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. Continuing as instructed by House Leader, Minister Vaz is now on his feet to continue on the public business.
Madam Speaker. On the 10th day of March 2026, the Shipping Prevention of Garbage Pollution Regulations 2026 were laid on the table of the House and notice given for their affirmation. Madam Speaker, the matter for consideration of this Honourable House is the Shipping Prevention of Garbage Pollution Regulations 2026, made pursuant to Section 457 of the Shipping Act. Section 457 of the Shipping Act provides that the Minister may make regulations for the purpose of giving effect to any international agreement or other international treaty instrument relating to shipping or the prevention of pollution of the marine environment, to which Jamaica is a party, that requires affirmative resolution of regulations made thereunder. Madam Speaker, the Shipping Prevention Garbage Pollution Regulations 2026 implements Annex B of the International Convention for the Prevention of the Pollution from Ships, the MARPOL, enhancing Jamaica's legal framework for preventing marine pollution caused by garbage from ships and offshore platforms. The regulations are intended to modernize Jamaica's regime for preventing, enforcing, and ensuring compliance with garbage pollution. Jamaica is a party to the MARPOL Convention and is required to give effect to the provisions of the Convention and its various annexes. MARPOL regulates the discharge of garbage at sea and imposes stricter controls in designated special areas, which include the wider Caribbean region. Additionally, the International Maritime Organization, to which Jamaica is a member, conducts regular member state audits, which inter alia confirms whether Jamaica is consistently and effectively implementing the applicable IMO instruments, which include the MARPOL Convention. Madam Speaker, marine pollution from ship-generated garbage poses serious environment, economic, and reputational risk to Jamaica. As a major maritime state, Jamaica must maintain robust, modern legislation aligned with the International Maritime Environment Standards. The regulations aim to provide for the following: prohibit or strictly regulate the discharge of garbage into the sea, ensure full compliance with MARPOL Annex 5, strengthen monitoring, record keeping, inspection, and enforcement, and protect Jamaica's marine environment. The regulations are arranged in 4 parts and have 3 schedules. Part 1 addresses preliminary matters dealing with the interpretation, application, and the treatment of ships of non-convention states. In Regulation 2, garbage is defined as including food waste, domestic and operational waste, plastics, cargo residues, incinerator ash, cooking oil, fishing gear, and animal carcasses. Part 2 of the regulation deals with the discharge of garbage into the sea, as well as outlines the prohibition against the discharge of garbage, the exceptions, permissible discharge, and the additional requirements applicable in special areas. Special area means any area of the sea specified in the first schedule, where for technical reasons in relation to its oceanographical and ecological condition and the particular character of the traffic in such area, the adoption of special mandatory methods for the prevention of sea pollution by garbage is required. And Part 3 of the regulation deals with the port state control powers, which include inspecting, detaining, and taking copies of records of ships in a Jamaican port or at an offshore terminal. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that a maritime inspector may detain a ship until any situation that is inconsistent with the operational requirements of these regulations is rectified. Madam Speaker, Part 6 speaks to the need of the master to have on board the required documentation for the ships, which are to be displayed, such as the placards, and to maintain a garbage record book. Having a garbage management plan and record keeping are important requirements. These requirements are to ensure that the accurate entries are made in the garbage records and that such records are preserved for a minimum period of 2 years from the date of the last entry. The master of a fixed or floating platform or ship that does not have on display the placards or any of the required documentation commits an offense and is liable on conviction to the penalty specified in relation to the offense set out in the 3rd schedule. The 1st schedule outlines the full set of special areas. The second schedule sets out the form of the garbage record book, and the third section sets out the offenses and penalties. The list of offenses is detailed throughout the regulations. The regulations establish clear offenses and penalties, including fines up to $1 million and imprisonment for up to a term of 3 months for serious breaches. The following offenses are included in the regulations: unlawful discharge of garbage, failure to report loss of fishing gear, failure to carry placards, garbage management plans or the record books, failure to make required entries, and making false or misleading records. The applicability of the regulations are Jamaican ships wherever they operate and foreign ships while in Jamaican waters as provided in Regulation 3. The regulations exclude Jamaican government ships on non-commercial services and the Jamaica Defence Force vessels unless otherwise prescribed by the Minister. It is also stated specifically in Regulation 4 that ships of non-convention states receive no more favorable treatment than convention state ships. Ship 12 meters or more in length and offshore platforms must display placards outlining garbage discharge requirements. The placards are required to be in working language of the ship, and for Jamaican ships they should also be in English. A prohibition on discharge of garbage is dealt with in Part 2. In Regulation 5 and 6, provision is made that if garbage is contaminated with the substance that is addressed by another annex of the Marpol Convention, and the annex imposes more stringent discharge requirements, the provisions of the annex will apply instead of the present regulations. A general prohibition is imposed on the discharge of garbage into the sea. A limited number of exceptions apply, only where the discharge of garbage is necessary for the safety of the ship or those on board, or saving life at sea. In the case of shipping gear, the safety of the ship or its crew, or the protection of the marine environment, or accidental loss from damage to the ship or its equipment, provided all reasonable precautions were taken to prevent or minimize an accidental loss. These exceptions are outlined in Regulations 7 and 9, or 7 to 9. Regulation 10 requires the master of the ship to report any accidental discharge of fishing gear that poses a significant threat to marine environment. Regulations 11 to 14 specify the discharge requirements for food waste, cargo residue, animal carcasses, and cleaning additives outside special areas. The regulations allow food waste to be discharged if it is communicated or ground and can pass through a screen with an opening no greater than 25 milliliters. The ship must, however, being en route and discharge must be done as far as practicable and not less than 3 nautical miles from the nearest land. Food waste does not meet the specified standard regarding being communicated or ground may also be discharged while a ship en route as far as is practicable and is no less than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land. Cargo residue may also be discharged when a ship is en route and as far as practicable and no less than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land. For animal carcasses and cleaning additives, the ship must be en route, and any such discharge must only consider any additional guideline from the International Maritime Organization. Regulations 15 to 18 specify the discharge and requirements for food waste, cargo residue, animal carcasses, and cleaning additives in special areas. Stricter discharge standards apply in the designated special areas, which include the wider Caribbean region, Mediterranean Sea, the Baltic Sea, and the Antarctic Sea. Regulation 19 speaks to port state control and enforcement. It specifies that the port state control inspectors appointed under the Shipping Act 1998 may board and inspect vessels in Jamaican ports and offshore terminals. Where necessary, ships may be detained if the crew are unfamiliar with the pollution prevention procedures. The general port state control provisions of the Shipping Act have been incorporated, including the power to request a police guard for a detained ship. Regulation 20 deals with placards, and Regulation 21 with garbage management plans. These regulations set out operational compliance measures to ensure effective implementation. The regulations require mandatory reporting for ships of 100 gross tonnage and above, ships certified to carry 15 or more persons, and fixed or floating platforms. Regulations also require that the plan designate the person in charge, the procedures to be followed, and the use of onboard equipment for minimizing, collecting, storing, processing, and disposing of garbage. Regulation 22, garbage record books require for ships of 400 gross tonnage and above, certain passenger ships and offshore platforms. The regulations require that all discharges, incineration, emergency discharges, and accidental losses must be recorded. The regulations allow the Maritime Authority to waive the requirements to have a garbage record book for certain passenger ships, those certified to carry 15 or more persons, and engage in a voyage of 1 hour or less, and fixed or floating platforms. Regulation 24 to 26 outline the types of entries to be recorded in the garbage record book, which are also specified, and this includes emergency discharge and accidental loss of garbage. The form of the garbage record book is included in a second schedule to the regulations. Regulation 27 specifies that for Jamaican ship, the entries made in the garbage record book are required to be in English, and that the records must be retained for a minimum of 2 years, including where they are kept electronically. Port State Control inspectors may examine and copy garbage record books and official logbooks, and copy of an entry made and certified is admissible as evidence in judicial proceedings as outlined in Regulation 30. Madam Speaker, the regulations represent a critical strengthening of the protection of Jamaica's marine ecosystem and coastal waters, and to eliminate ship source pollution from garbage, while also ensuring that Jamaica remains fully compliant with its international maritime obligations and confirms Jamaica's standing as a responsible flag port and coastal state. Affirming this regulation shall certainly reinforce prevention, accountability, and enforcement in line with the global maritime standards. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member from Manchester Northwest.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have no objection to what is being tabled here today. Just to say that we have been taking quite a while to, after making amendments to the Principal Act, Minister, the regulations taking some time to come. And it acted...
Sorry to disturb you. Minister, could you turn your mic off, please? Thank you. Go ahead, continue.
And the Principal Act cannot really be enforced without the regulations being tabled and passed by the House. Madam Speaker, while looking at the regulations here being tabled, the question I would really ask is if we are really prepared for the enforcement of all these regulations that we are now tabling, Minister, in ensuring that ships entering our waters are actually being monitored, and if we have enough personnel to basically enforce the laws of our land. Or is it that we are just doing these regulations and amendments to meet international shipping, being compliant with all the international shipping regulations that there are? But overall, Madam Speaker, we have no objection to the regulations being tabled, but to ensure from our side that enough is being done or being put in place to ensure that the enforcement of these regulations can be done when one really break the law of the land, so that these regulations and the work that we do in this house doesn't become something that is senseless at the end of the day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, member. What you have noted is, what you have mentioned is noted. And just to say that I have full confidence in the Maritime Authority Board and management. And of course, as you know, Jamaica sits on the IMO. So the fact of the matter is that we are very, very aggressive. And I'm sure that they will put the necessary provisions in place. With that said, Madam Speaker, I now move that the motion of notice which was given on the 10th day of March 2026 be approved.
House, the question is that the motion be approved. Those in favor? And those against? The ayes have it. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I now move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion, notice of which I gave earlier.
Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, this motion is in relation to the insurance amendment of 20th Schedule number 2, Regulations 2026, to be referred to the Regulations Committee. I now ask that the motion be approved.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. House
Madam
Leader.
Speaker, I now ask for the recommittal of notices of motions given orally.
Those in favor for the recommittal of notices of motions given orally? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Minister Vaz. Hold a moment, Minister. Minister and Marshall, you're blocking. I just wanted to make sure I did not turn on the mic. Thanks. Minister, I'm going to turn your mic on now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I beg to give notice at the next meeting of the House. I'll move to introduce and have read a first time a bill shortly entitled the Civil Aviation Amendment Act 2026.
Presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained was not recommitted.
Madam Speaker, I now move for the suspension of the standing order.
Minister, just for proper order, recommit as well.
I beg to recommit presentations of bills without leave of the House first obtained.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. Presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained. Minister Vaz.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I now move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to introduce and have read a first time a bill shortly entitled the Civil Aviation Amendment Act 2026.
Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
A bill shortly entitled the Civil Aviation Amendment Act 2026, read for a first time.
Minister Vaz. Notice for second.
Madam Speaker, notice for second reading. Yes. Notice requesting second reading, Madam Speaker.
Minister is giving notice of second reading. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Public business.
Madam Speaker, it's not intended to do any further business today. Just to inform the House that tomorrow we will meet at 12:30 to have the Standing Finance Committee, where we'll have a report from the Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, asking all the members to be on time so that we can have quorum. After that, we will go into our sectoral debate, which we will have the Minister of Justice present tomorrow, and 12:30 tomorrow, right? He's not taking it today. No, that the bill that was tabled today will be taken tomorrow. So to give, who won't be taken today?
We will.
No,
we
that
will,
won't be taken.
We will update
treat
the
it
House
that.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So I ask that the House be adjourned for tomorrow at 2 p.m. But tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. 12:30. No, the House.
Members, the question is that the House do now adjourn for tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the regular meeting of the House. Those in favor? Those against? In addition, members are asked by House Leader to be here at 12 o'clock so that at 12:30 we are able to proceed with a meeting of the entire House, that of the Standing Finance, in respect of reviewing the BOJ report, which is critical. Please be so reminded. This Honorable House now stands adjourned.
And the fats 5% Holness in up on the right track. You for zoom in on the nutrition facts. It there in the table on the side of the back. Vitamins, minerals and fiber to 20% and more that good for you. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake and less fat. You for zoom in.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Jamaica Moves, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, the National Health Fund, and JAP.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now me block, cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the under lock. Sin you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA, MOCA.
Why
appreciate the good things.
Mommy, the leaves are ready. I prepared 50 of them. Huh?
Huh?
Let's get started. I just learned how to make rice dumplings. Prepare to be amazed.
Oh.
Dragon
Boat Festival, here we come.
Calm down. All right. I'll prepare your food now. Huh? Those rice dumplings smell good. Hey, Grandma, I'll eat one rice dumpling.
How does it taste?
Huh? Mom, you're finally back.
You're a big boy now. Don't cry. People might tease you.
Fold the reed leaves at the center and turn it around to form a cone. Keep the bottom sealed. Fill the cone with glutinous rice and press it firmly. Fold the leaves tightly to keep the rice from falling from the cone. Keep it sealed. And lastly, hold the cone with one hand to secure its shape when tying it, or it will fall apart.
Hey, you have to remember, keep it tight.
You two are pathetic. Look at mine.
How, Mom?
Looks like we're eating twine.
Please stop laughing. It should be tightly sealed. That's why...
Tintin!
Huh? Oh, Dong Dong, your mom is back.
I'll get some water for you.
Oh, you're making dumplings too?
Look, my mom made these dumplings. There are 3 flavors, sweet, salty, and spicy. They're delicious.
Wow. It looks nice, too.
Huh? I'll show you how to tell the flavors apart.
I hope you enjoy the different flavors.
We sure will. Thank you so much.
No problem. Dong Dong must have been a headache to you while I was away.
Oh, not at all. Dong Dong was so behaved.
You called this a rice dumpling?
Give it back!
Dong Dong!
We seldom make dumplings, and Tian Tian wanted to try, so we did.
Dong Dong, come here.
Huh? Yes, ma'am.
Silly boy. We're leaving.
It's so yummy.
This puts mine to shame.
It's okay. It's only your first try. Their dumplings do look very good and have different flavors. More importantly, they taste delicious.
Today's a warm-up. We surely need more practice. I'll prepare more filling. Tomorrow is the Dragon Boat Festival. We have time to practice. We can't give up. So don't worry. Keep practicing the basics, okay?
Make some more. I don't wanna. Dong Dong will just laugh at me.
I'll go to work.
I'll walk Xiao Shan. Let's go, Xiao Hei.
You wait and see. I won't lose to Dong Dong's mom.
It's delicious. Dong Dong Dong, you're so lucky. Your mom is back for the festival. Huh?
Tian Tian, Dong Dong's mom made these delicious rice dumplings.
No need. I've had some. It tastes really good. Tomorrow is the Dragon Boat Festival. Have you made dumplings? Well...
Of course she did! And I don't know how it tastes, but it sure looked ugly.
I'll make better dumplings tomorrow.
What? I wasn't lying.
As her friends, we should encourage Tian Tian.
I've got a plan. Dad, why is Mom still in the kitchen till now?
Your mom has been busy all day because she wants to make delicious rice dumplings for us. Honey, let's go help Mom out. We should try our best tomorrow.
I'll try to make the prettiest rice dumplings tomorrow.
Great. Let's prepare now.
We're
ready.
What are you doing?
We're ready to take your orders. Tell us what to do.
The time to witness a miracle is now.
Huh?
It looks like the dumpling Dong Dong's mom made. You did a great job.
Your dumpling looks really nice, my dear.
You can do it too. Go ahead and try.
Tian! You're here. We're here to help you make dumplings.
Don't worry, you'll make better dumplings than me.
Good timing. I've prepared a lot of fillings.
Wow.
Those fillings look great.
Xiaopang had to take care of his grandma, so he couldn't come with us.
Well, that's all right. We can make more and give some to him later. You can bring home the rice dumplings you make if you like.
That sounds great. I want to make some for my mom.
I'll boil some water.
Let's go.
Ours still look ugly.
But I don't think it's a bad thing, because you can tell which dumpling is yours right away.
But they all look ugly to me. How can you tell which rice dumpling is yours anyway?
Well, I guess you're right. We can mark the rice dumplings. I want to put the biggest salted egg yolk in mine.
I'll make one with chicken in it. I'll put red bean paste.